Hey friends, welcome to another episode of the podcast. On today's episode, brought to you by the Michigan Retailers Association, we head up to the UP to talk to Raymond Bell from Das Gift Haus. And as I said, my guest today, Raymond Bell from Das Gift Haus. My friend, it is a pleasure. I have never met you before. It is a pleasure to meet you. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Beautiful sunny day in the Upper Peninsula in Sault Ste Marie, so can't complain.
All right, so let's jump into this. There are 3 locations, yes, of Das Gift Haus?
Yes, we have the original location started in 1969 in Sault Ste Marie. Then we expanded to St. Ignace, and we then expanded again to Munising, which is right by the Pictured Rocks National Lake Shore.
I know it well, my friend. So let's take people back, because what we have seen, and I'm sure I'm going to tell you something that you already know, but for a lot of people, they were able during the last 3 years to discover that there's an outdoors. Right? And
yes.
And then they were able to discover there's this place called the Upper Peninsula that houses all these amazing things, and then they came up to visit you. But for people who maybe came to Munising, Sault Ste. Marie, and bumped into you for the first time, let's take a couple steps back to, the early 1960s. Where did this idea come from? What was going on at the time that something like this needed to exist? And then how did it expand to 2 other locations?
So my grandfather actually started the business. He was a manager of a Scott's department store, which used to be like Kmart. When he retired from that, he bought 2 pieces of property on Portage Avenue and set up 2 gift shops. 1969, my dad had been involved in big business and watched people just get fired that had been there for 20 years. And he decided he wanted some more control over his destiny. So he moved us here from Chicago to take over the business. And then he bought what is now Das Gift Haus. My mom had grown up in the family business, so she continued right over. I grew up in it. And then as business started to get better, we expanded and bought property in St. Ignace and opened a Das Gift Haus there. Business continued to grow. And then we had the opportunity to buy a piece of property in Munising. And fortunately, we bought Munising's property just before the explosion of the popularity of Pictured Rock shoreline.
Sure.
Oh, yeah. And then I was going to say, I know when COVID first hit and things were shutting down, my mom and I, as we were talking about the business future, we kind of hoped that maybe being in a very rural area would be a blessing for us. And it ended up being that people that first year of COVID that normally fly to Europe or fly to Disney World, fly places, they drove and they came up here for the first time. And I told our staff, I said, we want to make sure we make a great impression on these travelers here. We want people to come back and keep exploring the Upper Peninsula.
Absolutely. So I want to pause there for a second and take one quick step back because I'm always fascinated about this. So for you specifically, Raymond, was there a moment ever that you thought you would be doing something else, or was this always part of the plan?
I always wanted to get involved in the family business. I also love sports. So when I got my degree, I got a phys ed degree, went out east, coached and taught for 11 years. About 20 years ago, I moved back home, had the opportunity to come home. And then I still stayed involved coaching and did the business on the side. And now I'm fully immersed in doing business, do some radio broadcasts. But ultimately, this is where I want to be at some point.
Awesome. So the podcast is obviously centered around the Michigan Retailers Association and their relationship with not only the consumers in and around Michigan, but of course you guys. And so for a brand like yours that has 3 locations, as you said, in rural Upper Peninsula areas, what has it been like working with them through COVID? How have they helped you? What is that relationship like? And how would you explain to people why you want to be a part of the MRA?
It's great. Number one, our credit card processing is through MRA. They have great support with that. Um, Overall, great rates. At one point, we ventured off to somebody else, but ended up coming back because all the hidden costs that the other group had, MRA didn't. So they're, and now 75% of our sales are credit card sales.
Oh, wow.
Um, yeah. So when the pandemic hit, and we had to go try and do virtual stuff, we had a website, but we could not sell off the website. So in researching doing the website, MRA helped us use their credit card processing and dealing with another company that does the online thing. They connected the two, and so they were very helpful. Basically, one phone call and let them know the information for the company I was dealing with. He says, "Oh yeah, we can hook it up," and we were ready to go.
That's awesome. So, what was it like for you guys? As you said, you thought it might be a blessing. How quickly did that turn into a blessing, and where are we at today?
Um, well, I because of COVID, we started doing Facebook Live when we were shut down. Um, and we started to set up our stores so we had our stuff displayed in the windows so people could basically call and say, "Hey, I see this in the window, I'd like to get it." And then the governor, just just before Memorial Day, when she kind of opened up the Upper Peninsula and we could open up our doors, that's when we kind of realized we were going to have a good summer because we hadn't planned on opening all of our locations because it was semi closed. But we had a flood of people, and all the people that came, they wanted to support small business. So they were spending money, they had money. So we, short staffed, had a better Memorial Day weekend with a small staff compared to previous Memorial Day weekends. And that's when we kind of got the inkling this is going to be pretty good.
And so, present day, we're obviously right on that bubble of thinking about spring and heading into summer. What does this year look like for you guys? And do you expect that growth? Are we expecting, I was just talking to Corianne up there in Munising, and she's expecting, a slight increase, not the 30% increase from 2020, but a slight increase, so more people heading up. Are you expecting the same sort of thing?
I think it's going to continue to grow because the last 2 years have gotten better and better. So we expect aiming for about maybe 10% growth. And with kind of some supply chain issues that are going on now, we've kind of adjusted our buying and finding out some companies that, hey, we'll take stuff a little earlier than we might normally have taken just to make sure we have product in the store. But we anticipate a good summer.
All right, Raymond. So let's pretend there are people that haven't made that trip and they're thinking about doing it this year, right? They started driving around Michigan, they just didn't make it to the UP. They're heading to Munising or St. Ignace. Explain to them what the store is and kind of why you would want to go in here and spend some time with your staff.
Well, our store is our tagline is special gifts priced right. We try and price reasonably priced items. We don't jack up the prices. We look for good buys, and we have a unique variety. Instead of going in a lot of depth, we have lots of variety. We're built to accommodate local customers that have birthdays, weddings, anniversary gifts, and we're also built for the traveler that comes up and wants a keychain or wants a coffee mug or t-shirts or sweatshirts, or maybe they're into collectibles of some types, stone art. We have lots of home decor, so we have a little bit of everything.
So, Raymond, if people want to bump into you online, where's the best place for them to do that? Is that Facebook? Is that Instagram? Is it the website? Where do they find you and get started learning about Dust Gift House?
Probably Instagram or Facebook. We try and do Facebook Live semi regularly. Our Facebook link is Das Gift House, DAS. Gift is normal, and House is HAUS. It's a German spelling. For those of you that know German, it actually means poison house, but my parents named it and they didn't realize it. I always tell people our original building used to be a bar, so that's the poison. So Facebook and Instagram, I post 2 to 3 times a day. Do Facebook Live. You can buy off of our Facebook page, buy off our Instagram, and our website. You can buy some of the apparel and moccasins. So each location online, I have a little bit different category set up to purchase on.
Raymond Bell from Das Gift House, thank you for the time, my friend. I will let you get back to it. Have a wonderful weekend and an awesome upcoming season.
Thank you very much, and thank you for your time.